Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm very excited because I'm celebrating 1000 subscribers. Oh my god, I can't believe it. I want to say a very big thank you to every one of my subscribers, everyone who have watched my video, showed me love. Thank you so much. Although my channel is not yet monetized because my watched hour is still quite low, but I believe I can do it. I believe I can do it with you by my side. So if you haven't subscribed and you're watching this video, make sure to subscribe, watch this video to the very end, and share the video so it could reach more people and we could make up for that watch hour. So anyways, today's video is all about how I made this beautiful beginner friendly turtleneck dress. So if this sound exciting, and make sure to watch the video to the very end, and also ignore my makeup stain. I wanted to look pretty to celebrate my 1000 subscribers. I also braided my hair myself, and so if you're interested, you want to see how I braided this hair, the next video after this one will be how I made this myself. So I'm gonna give you a 360 view before we dive into today's video. So this is my hair. Here's the back, and I've got this little bow. So yeah, thank you so much to every one of you, and now let's get into today's video. This is the pattern I will be using for this tutorial, and it is my dartless bodice and sleeve pattern. The link to this pattern will be up on the card and also on the description box. For this pattern, the front and the back is together in one block, and if you look closely, you see that the front shoulder is slightly lower than the back shoulder, and the front armor is also deeper than the back armor, and so goes for the neckline. Now, to use this pattern, you could either trace the front and the back out separately, or trace out one piece, cut out the back piece, and then move forward to cut the front piece. I will be using the second method. So I'll move ahead to trace out the pattern and then extend it to my desired length. Then shape the pattern to my tight fit measurement. And this is the pattern traced out, and it's shaped to my tight fit measurement because I'm working with a stretchy Jay-Z fabric. This is a closer view of the upper bodice. Everything is still the same aside from the shaping. The deeper curve is the front armhole. On the neckline, the deeper curve is also the front neckline. Now from the knee line, we are going to be doing the slash and spread method to achieve the flare on the lower part of the dress. So now I'm going to specify the lines so you don't get confused. This is my bust line, my waistline, my hip line, and my knee line. I'm going to be redrawing the hip curve because I feel the curve is a little bit too curvy for me. I'm just going to bring in that curve a bit and cancel the first curve. We don't need that line anymore. Moving forward to the knee line, I'm going to measure what I have on that line and then divide the measurement into 3 equal parts, then draw out the slash line. I'm also going to be labeling the pattern so you know the pattern will be cut on fold.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray.
The next step is to do the slash and spread method, and to do that I'll cut the pattern from the side through the knee line to enable me open up the the panel lines, and once that is done, I'll place another paper underneath and spread each panel with 2.5 inches space in between, making sure the center front line still remain straight.
I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay? Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby, have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you, but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain. I know you told your friend you're not okay.
This is the pattern spread out. The next thing I will do is to blend in the curve on that nail area, so we have a smooth line on that part. And now I'm just drawing the new flare shape, and the next thing is to cut out the pattern.
And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away. As you fade away.
Now I'm also going to cut out the sleeve pattern. So I have also shaped my sleeve pattern. So you want to take your bicep, your elbow and your wrist measurement and shaped the sleeve according to your measurement, your tight measurement. And this is my pattern ready to be cut on fabric, and here is the fabric. Is a Jay-Z rib knit fabric in this gorgeous beige color, and this is me cutting out the back of the pattern piece on my fabric first using 0.5-inch seam allowance. Please note, if you're using a rib fabric or you're working with a stretchy fabric, you do not need to add seam allowance. I added seam allowance, but I later took it out. And this is me cutting out the back neck line out and the arm also. I can use the same pattern to cut out the front piece. So I've gone ahead to cut the front, and I am just pinning the front and back right side facing each other on the side seam, and I'm going to be overlocking them together. So here's the sleeve pattern. I'm also going to cut out the sleeve, and the sleeve is also cut on fold. So I have 2 pieces of the sleeve cut on fold. So now I'm overlocking all the seams together, starting from the shoulders. So for Jay-Z fabric, you do not need to sew. You just take it to your overlocker and overlock all the seams together, because Jay-Z fabric is not the easiest fabric to work with. It's really difficult to sew on your sewing machine. So after this step, I tried the dress on and it was slightly too big, and I had to trim off the 0.5-inch seam allowance I added and then overlock it again. So this is the dress when I tried it on, and as you can see, it's slightly too big. This is the sleeve pieces placed right side facing each other, and I just drew in 1 centimeters line at the midpoint of the front armhole. On our pattern, the front armhole is usually deeper than the back armhole, so I'm going to curve that in to match with the front armhole of the dress. Once this is done, I'll cut that part out and I'll make sure I blend it nicely with the edge of the sleeve. Then notch the front, so I know this is the front of the sleeve, and I have also notched the edge of the sleeve. So now I'll bring back my dress. So I have gone ahead to cut out the first overlocking I did to reduce the fitting of the dress, and now I'm going to match the sleeve with the dress pattern, pin the sleeve to the dress, and then overlock the seams together. So this is where the notching comes in. So as you can see, the notch point is going to go on the front because that's the front part of the sleeve, and this is me matching the ends together and also pinning. And I'll take this to my overlocker and overlock them together. After overlocking, this is what the sleeve look like. Because I adjusted the dress, I also need to adjust the sleeve. So I'm going to trim off that excess on the sleeve, then pin the seam allowance together, making sure I match the underarm point, and then I'll take it to my overlocker and overlock the seams together. So I'm also notching the elbow point of the sleeve because that's gonna help me match both elbow points together. So I'll repeat the same thing on the other side, and so this is me making sure that underarm match, and then I'm going to overlock, and this is it after overlocking. It looks really clean. So now for the turtleneck, I am going to measure the circumference of the neckline on both the front and back. Once I get the measurements, I'm going to write that down. Then cut a piece of fabric with the circumference of the neck by the height of the turtleneck you want. So in my case, the circumference is 49 centimeters and the height is 3 inches. So by the time I sew this into the dress, I should be left with about 2.5 inches turtleneck. So now you could do this step in two ways. If you want a very fitted turtleneck, you should work with a two seam neckline. So the two seam, one seam will be on each side of the shoulder, but for me I'm going with just one seam, and the seam will be at the center back of the dress. So I just marked the midpoint of the fabric, and then I drew in a 1 inch line, and now I'm just making a curve. So the reason for this curve, you could freehand this curve. The reason for this is to have a more fitted neckline on the upper part, and the bottom part is still going to fit right on the dress when you sew it. So I'm going to cut this piece out. Like I said, if you want a more fitted neck, you should have do the same thing I'm doing on both side of the fabric, and then you would have two seam on the neckline. But for me, I am going to have just one seam. So I have gone ahead to overlock the piece together, and this is what it looked like when it's folded. Now I would notch I'll fold it in half as it is now, notch the other part, and then fold it into four, which is in quarter, and also notch it. So this is gonna guide me when I'm pinning on to the dress. So now I'm folding it into four now, and I'm just marking. I'm also gonna notch this, you'll see that shortly. So this is me notching the other part, and I'm going to match this with the dress. So I'm pinning that to the center front, and the other notch are going to be pinned to the shoulders. So after this is done, I am going to overlock the seams together, and you will see what it look like. So this is it. As you can see, my seam is at the center back of the dress. I'm making a knot so the overlocking stitch don't unravel in future after wearing or washing the dress. So I'll turn the dress to the right side so you see how clean the finishings are, and the next step, which is the last step, would be to hem the dress. And I went ahead to hem the dress with 1/2 inch seam allowance using a stretch stitch on my sewing machine. And this is the finishing. So do let me know your thoughts, and do not forget to like, share the video, subscribe if you haven't done that yet, and I will see you on my next video. Bye.